Okay, this one is perfect, said Angu. You can't go wrong with a traditional oak tree. No, ma'am, Tiro agreed. And it's just the perfect size. Don't you agree, Mumbor? Let's just get this over with. Splin bit his lip. He knew this tree personally. He'd had long conversations with it about the ethical implications of pruning. Not this one, he shouted. What's wrong with this one? There's a family of possums living in this one. We can't use it. Just think of what it would be like if these possums came out of the tree in the middle of the feast. Angu and Tiro sighed and continued looking. Mumbor just said, I hate you. Hey, check it out, exclaimed Grackle. I found gold. That isn't gold, said Grickle. It's just fool's gold. Then it ought to make you rich, fool. I'm going to belt you. Guys, let me see it. Soapok examined the rock carefully. Yeah, it's gold all right. Told ya, I found treasure before you did, Grackle goaded. So what? Our parents are all rich. They have tons of gold. Hey, check this one out, said Soapok, holding a small crystal. This looks just like the one that Rugi put in the food bank. Hey, said Grickle, do you think he can make another ice stone? No, it has to be eaten and pooped by a snowman, Grackle answered. That can't be right, said Soapok. There's no such thing as a snowman. Uh-huh, said Grickle. Our mom and dad say they live way up north by Loskai. No, they don't, Soapok insisted. That's just a story grown-ups made to scare little kids. They do too, Grackle insisted just as adamantly. They're 10 feet tall and they're made of snow and ice. Snow and ice aren't even alive, Soapok pointed out. Neither is rock, but the people from North Hunger used to be rock monsters. That's different. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It's not. Is too. Not. Soapok crossed his arms confrontationally. There's no such thing as snowmen. Yes, there is. Are you calling our mom and dad liars? Grickle asked. Maybe I am. Grickle cocked a fist back. You take that back. Make me. Grickle thought it best to step in at this point. Why don't you prove that there are no snowmen? Why should I do that? Are you chicken? Grackle taunted. No. You are too, chicken. Grackle turned into a bat and walked around, clucking and bobbing his head like a chicken. Nobody calls Soapok Fireseed a chicken. I'll show you. With that, Soapok transformed and flew off in search of proof of the absence of snowmen. So I was thinking, said Marcus, we ought to have someone dress up as Shanar and pass out presents to the kids. It'll be a real Solstice treat. Shanar? Come on, said Quargle. Nobody here has ever heard of Shanar. Now a visit from Kallas, that would be exciting. Kallas? The idea is to make the kids happy, not terrify them. Actually, said K-Rock, I doubt many people here have heard of Kallas either. You're kidding. Nope. Lutins don't have anything like that. At least not that I've ever heard of. The church bells began ringing at that moment. Oh, is it time for service already? Said K-Rock. Where does the day go? Both men watched the commander leave, then commenced arguing. It should be Shanar. Shanar's a human. This is Goblin country. It should be Kallas. Kallas is a kidnapper. Shanar. Kallas. Point was looking in the window of the Mountain Shade tack store when he heard the bells ringing. On display in the window was a gorgeous saddle with gold inlay against a dark leather background. How magnificent K-Rock would look seated on that. Point imagined him seated on his horse. He tried at least until he realized that K-Rock did not own a horse. He either walked or took a train everywhere he went. Oh well, might as well get to church. The service was already well underway when Booley and Kara finally arrived in Mountain Shade. As Kara looked at the church building, she turned to her father and asked, Daddy, when's Vertarbna's birthday? Nobody knows, Booley replied. It's just not something we celebrate. How come? I don't know. We just never have. We should, said Kara thoughtfully. You love me, so you gave me a birthday. We love Vertarbna, so he should get a birthday too. And how shall we celebrate it? We can't give him presents because he's in Stormhaven. Kara thought about that. Vertarbna loves everybody, so if we're really super nice to everybody, that will make Vertarbna happy. And when should we celebrate it? Kara thought some more. It should be the most special day of all, so it should be on winter solstice. Then that is what we shall do. We shall be extra nice to everyone on solstice and wish Vertarbna a happy birthday. As Bully said this, they arrived at the doors of the chapel. Oh, wait, you have to turn me back, Bully exclaimed, bending down. Kara giggled and tapped his head. Horsey, morsey, gladdy, daddy, she incanted. Bully did a quick impression of a horse turning into a goblin. Oh, that's better. I was starting to crave grass just now. Into the building went the father and daughter, joining in the goblinish hymn which was being sung. They had barely gotten through a stanza when Morgul burst through the door and ran straight to K-Rock. The entire place fell silent, leaving Morgul extremely self-conscious. Captain, whispered Morgul into K-Rock's ear, the food bank has been robbed. How much was taken? K-Rock inquired. All of it. What? Shouted K-Rock. Then politely, excuse us, everyone. Quickly he rushed the Norker out the door. Once the singing had resumed, he asked, What do you mean, all of it? I mean the entire place is empty. There isn't a scrap of food in the place. How did this happen? I don't know, sir. The keeper never saw anyone enter. Just 1 minute it was there, and the next minute it was gone. All right, don't tell anyone about this, said K-Rock. Can I tell Splim? Of course you can tell Splim. He's not going to be happy. You can tell him I'm already on the case. And Morgul, is it? Yes, sir. Good work, Morgul. What about this one? Asked Hero. Surely there's nothing wrong with this one. Splin looked up at the sleeping elm. This one has a weak core. It will split if we cut it. That's it, said Mumbor. We have been out here all day. Every time we find a good solstice tree, you found something wrong with it. I'm beginning to think you just don't want us to have a solstice tree. No, Splin insisted. Everybody wants a solstice tree. It's just... Just what? I don't want us to kill one, Splin mumbled. Splin, said Tiro, how are we supposed to bring a tree back to Mountain Shade if we don't cut it down? I don't know. Enough is enough, said Angu. It is freezing out here. My fingers, toes, and ears are completely numb now. I don't think I could even hold an axe to swing it. Let's go home for the night and come back in the morning without Splin. The speaker to trees felt horrible as he watched his friends storm off back to town without him. I can't believe they took everything, said K-Rock. Behind him, Point, Saitet, and Hamal were all agape. How? Asked Point. Teleportation spell, said Saitet. It's the only explanation. But who would do such a thing? Asked Hamal. I can think of a few people. Our harvest was pretty good, but some of the neighboring areas weren't so lucky. Fargon experienced crop failure due to hail. The slave mines might be trying to get revenge on us. There's the wood elves who just plain hate us, or maybe something is going on in Marai Uthro or Prendor because of the curse Dupree put on the river. I'm going to have to do a lot of flying, aren't I? Asked Saitet rhetorically. You take the river cities, said K-Rock. I'll ask some of the ponies to investigate the slave mines. They can travel fast and snoop around without arousing suspicion. Booley's house was out in the forest, on the road between Mountain Shade and Spiritfell. Taking his daughter's hand as they left the chapel, he began the long walk. Kara yawned. Are you feeling tired? Asked Booley. Kara nodded. Would you like to ride on my shoulders? Again, Kara nodded. Booley picked his daughter up, put her legs astride his neck, and said, You know what to do. Kara tapped the top of his head and said, Daddy glad she was interrupted by an explosion. Something shot through the roof of Rugi's workshop and flew in an arc to land at Booley's feet. A second later, Rugi followed. Sorry, said the third, picking up the object and returning to his workshop. Daddy, gladdy, morsey, horsey, said Kara. As always, Booley mimed his transformation into a horse and galloped off. This left Rugi scratching his chin for a moment before shrugging and going back inside.